Likutei Moharan Torah Chaf Hey. We are holding by Seif Dalet. So after we explained that a person has to break and be mevatel the koyach hamadama, that part of you that imagines that you know what's what, and be zoichet to koyach bepoel, and I'm sorry, to seichel bekoyach, to get the seichel, at least theoretically understand what is right. And then to use the seichel as you go along, to follow it out. And you get the seichel anikna, in which you own the seichel, you understand, you know it. It's already part of who you are, you don't have to think about it. You have to, it's like learning how to drive. At first, you can only imagine what it is like to drive. And then you come and you see that you're explained that this is what happens with the wheel, this is what happens with the brakes, what happened with the gear, what happened with this, and this follows that. So you understand the seichel is bekoyach. You understand what needs to be done, but you're still as long as you don't do it, as long as you don't, so then you sit in the car and you take your foot off the brake. Whoa, I'm moving, and it's, and now you're going into this, and now you have to yield, and now you have to this, and after that, and you live it. This is the seichel bepoel. You're actually putting into use the theory that you knew before. Now it becomes a bepoel, and after a while you acquire a proficiency that you know how to drive. It's no longer an assembly of separate tasks that you need to do. You're driving. You react to any situation because you know how to drive. So after and then you come, and this is called seichel anikna. It's like you bought it. It's like in your pocket. You have the whole thing. You don't need the details. You know it. And obviously, the main thing we're talking about is not driving, but how to drive in this world. Yeah. And once you have seichel anikna, that's the thing that remains after a person passing from this world. That's the thing that remains, seichel anikna. Now the Rebbe says that every time that a person goes from one madrega to the next, he has to break the klip of the medama of the next madrega. Until now, you were a cashier in the supermarket. Now you became the manager of all the cashiers. There are different demands of the jobs, all kinds of demyanis. So it's the same process, goes over and over and over again. Now the thing is, when a person serves the Kodesh Baruch Hu, he's not noticing, you were made manager, or you were made foreman, or you were made that. You don't realize that. You just all of a sudden, have the attacks of the madama, and you just like, whoa, what happened? Who's tickling me? Like, what's probably wondering, what is it? Who's tickling me? That's from the Midas machine, the marvelous Midas machine. Okay, anyhow. And when you go to a higher madrega, and the reason why the dimyonis come all over again is because a person has two kinds of kedushas, two levels of kedusha. The inner kedusha, which is the kedusha of your Torah and Masim Tovim or whatever it is. Kedusha Chitzonius, that's the Kedusha of your Divrei. You eat, you sleep, whatever it is, that's the Kedusha Chitzonius. Now, when a person goes from one Madrega to the one above it, the only thing that really goes up is the inner Kedusha. That's the thing you take with you. And that inner Kedusha becomes the makif, the outside Kedusha, to the outside Kedusha that used to be of the person that stood in the Madrega above you. The person above you also moves. It's not possible for two people to be on the same Madrega. So if he moves, what moves? The Pnimius moves. So his Pnimius moves, so what remains is what used to be the Kedusha Chitzonius. Now, that Kedusha is not, you the new boy on the block.
Yeah.
That's the Kedusha Pnimius, because what used to be your Kedusha Pnimius, now is Kedusha Chitzonius. And I gave you a mashal, we're giving you numbers. We say the Kedusha Chitzonius used to be 5, and the Pnimius used to be 10. The Madrega above you, the Kedusha Chitzonius is 15, and the inside is 20.
So you have to...
When you go up, your 10 goes up and becomes the makif to the 15.
Right.
Now, your Torah and Tefillah is 15. It used to be 10, now it's 15. Your eating and drinking used to be 5, now it's 10. That person used to be there, the 20, it went up. Now it's like, it's 20, 25. Now, the ultimate Kedusha of the Madrega that you now came into, which is sufficient light to drive away the cockroaches of the Klippas and the Dimyonis, is 1520. But you don't have 1520, you have 1015. You just came in, from around here. You're just, hello, anybody home, So immediately, all the Klippas rise up and they mebabble you until you mekadosh your place. And you do what you need to do in your place, and you raise your outside Kedusha to 15, the inside Kedusha to 20, and that subdues the Klippas all over again. Guess what happens then? That's right. You're on 20, you go up to a next Madrega. The 20, which used to be the inside Kedusha, now becomes the Chitzonius to the 25, which was the Chitzonius of the Madrega above. So you are in this sapling, this fledgling new Madrega, this Mislamed, this Talmud, this neophyte, that you only have, either a 10-15 or 20-25 or, and so forth and so on. So the Klippas raise up all over again. So now, the Rebbe is going to explain in Sif Dalet how a person can be machnia the Klippas, which are the Dimyonis, in the new Madrega. How do I do it? They come, they attack me, they break my bones, they bust my chops. What do I do now? And it says like this: it is not possible to subdue the Klippas. Hainu adimyonis v'amachshavas v'atayvas v'abilbulim v'aminias sheba Madrega. On this new higher Madrega, there's no way to subdue the Klippas, which is the fantasies and the thoughts and the lusts and the confusions and the minias in this upper Madrega. Ela aladei gdulois abayr, except through exposing the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The only way to chase the cockroach from the kitchen in the middle of the night is by turning on the light. The Klippas, they derive their existence from the Torah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The monsters live under the bed or under the rock. Now you're a kid and you realize that if you take your leg out of your bed, monsters that are under the bed are going to eat you up. So you have to be very careful. It says the only way, it says in the Kavanas of Hoydel Hashem, and it says in Shara Kavanas, in Priyatz Chaim, that Hoydel Hashem, this Mizmor, Hoydel Hashem Kiru Bishmoi, was put together over there, in order to machnia the klipas in the Olam HaYetzirah. Because we know that in the Karbanas is the Asiyah, and Sukkot Zimra is in Yetzirah. Now you say Shalom Boneh Besaming Dash you finished Asiyah, assuming you said Karbanas. So now you're getting into Asiyah. What's the first thing that you meet when you get into Asiyah? The klipos, right? The klipos. So you have a mizmor, Hoydel Hashem, שזה המזמור נסתכל להכניע הקליפות שביצירה. כי נסעירים נגד עשייה. It is now, it revolts against the olam ha'asiyah she'olam be'yetzira. If you remember in Torah Chav Daled, remember we said the Malchus, is Malbish the Nehi, and the Nehi afterwards Malbish the Adan. The same thing is happening not only within the Partzufim of the Olam, the Malchus and the Nehi, and it also happens with Klal Yisrael Olamas. The Asiyah is Makif the Yetzirah. The Yetzirah goes up and is Makif the Bria, and the Bria goes up and is Makif the Atzilus. That's it. It's a fractal principle. It's all the time. That's the way it goes. The Klippas, raise up against the Asiyah. She'ola be'Yetzirah. And when you mention the greatness of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, with this, that you mention the greatness of Kodesh Baruch Hu, that's the thing that subdues them. Ayin Sham. Because in every single world, there is Pnimius and Chitzonius. Pnimius of the Yetzirah, the Kedusha Pnimius of the Yetzirah, Oilo Lebriya. It goes up, as we said before. It goes up and becomes a makif, to the chitzonius of the bria. Upnimis asiyah, and the inside kedusha, the inner kedusha, the prime kedusha of asiyah, oila umalbish chitzonius hayetzira. It is malbish the chitzonius of oila hayetzira. Now, from the pnimis of oila asiyah, is a lower madrega than the chitzonius of the Yetzirah. As we explained before, we have the 10 is lower than the 15. So we'll give the same dogma because it makes it very easy to understand that if we say that the pnimius and chitzonius of the Asiyah is 5 and 10, the pnimius and the chitzonius and the pnimius of the Yetzirah is 15-20. Okay, so the 20, which is the pnimis of the Yetzirah, goes up and becomes makif to the chitzonius of the bria, and the Asiyah, the pnimis of the Asiyah, which is 10, is makif to what used to be the chitzonius of the Yetzirah, which is the 15. Okay, that's why even though the klipas in the Yetzirah they already were subdued, and they cannot grab hold of Olam HaYetzirah. However, now, when the pnimius of Olam HaAsiyah goes to Olam HaYetzirah, now there's a pachad that the klipas can grab hold of it all over again. That's why we say the mizmor of Hoydel Hashem Kiru Bishmoi. That it means you, the holy malachim, call the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hodiu aliloisav. Let everybody know the feats of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who in the nations. Hodiu ba'amim aliloisav. Who is the amim? The amim are the klipos. Hoydel Hashem Kiru Bishmoi. Malachim announce the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hodiu ba'amim, let the klippos know, alilois of the feats of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that causes the klippos to fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they're not going to grab hold onto the pnimius of the Asiyah that now went up to the Yetzirah. This entire Mizmor talks about that. Now you have a whole new istaklos on this first Hoydel Hashem Kiru Bishmai. How important it is and what it's all about. So this entire Mizmor speaks about what? That the Goyim and all the nations and all and all their ministers will recognize the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and will not grab hold of the Kedusha. And when a person wants to go from one Madrega to the higher Madrega, by exposing the greatness of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, he is machnia the klipos in this Madrega, and they are afraid to grab hold of it. Ad kan for today.